guys, what is going on? Back again today with another Pokemon X and Y OU Wi-Fi battle. Today I have a battle with one of my best friends. That is right, Zolrain. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who he is. He's a very good streamer, very good battler, and he's a very cool guy. Zol is one of those people that no matter what kind of day you're having, he will make up some stupid shit and make you laugh. He's cool. He's an alright guy. But looking at teams. My team, pretty early, early me, I guess, 6th gen. Very rain-based Politoed, Swampert, Goodra, Talonflame. Ugh, gross. I can't believe I used one of those. Mega Medicham and Dat Volcarona. Looking at his team, he ran that team for a while. It looks like he mixed up the Archeops, so he doesn't normally run Archeops on it. But the combo, the Venusaur Sand/Slash Fancy combo, is pretty much always there with Zol. I don't think he runs it that much anymore, but that is generally what he ran for a while. He used to really just use those 3 Pokemon. Fancy Meowstic is one of his favorite Pokemon, actually, so it's pretty easy to see why he would be using it. Because it's strong, but I'm going to predict him to lead off with that thing, so I'm going to go ahead and lead off with my Politoed here. Now, the good thing with leading with Politoed, I'm almost certain that he doesn't have Taunt on this thing, and even if he did, he would want to get his screens up first. That is what Meowstic does, which is great for me because it's going to allow me to Toxic this thing early and get that residual damage every turn. Even if he does switch out a lot with this thing, the residual damage, even that very, very tiny percentage of it at the beginning is always helpful. But I'm going to go out into my Swampert now. I kind of had a feeling that he would go for the Psyshock instead of having like Psychic or something like that. And Swampert was obviously the better option to send in rather than keeping my Politoed in. One, he does not have his Reflect up yet, although he could very easily set it up with on this next turn with his Prankster. But even if he did, I knew that he would either switch or he would try and set up a screen, which is great for me because it's going to allow me to get my rocks up very, very early instead of having to lead with my Swampert. I would rather have led with my Politoed, get the Toxic off, switch into my Swampert, and then get my Stealth rocks up, rather than just going into Swampert and getting my rocks up first turn. Because it's predictable, it's very easy to predict, and I thought that he might actually want to lead with the Venusaur. That is why I led with Politoed, because I know my Politoed can actually live a single hit from this Venusaur, regardless of what he goes for. And even if he did lead with this thing, I could have easily switched into my Goodra, which is also Hydration. This team is very, very, very dependent on rain. This Goodra, I believe, is Hydration instead of the... what do I normally run? Do I always run Hydration? What else does it get? Sap Sipper and... I don't know, get something else. I can't remember right now. I'll put it on the screen, and then that way you guys know. Just remind me. I'll remember. He's gonna go out to Marty now. After we did some switches here, I kind of predicted him. Kind of did that double switch thing. I sent out my Talonflame. I sent out my Talonflame on his Venusaur. He switched the Venusaur out. I double switched back to my Swampert, predicting the Marty coming in, which is great because Swampert can eat up whatever Marty wants to throw at him. And I got that nice, very, very powerful waterfall with the rain boost. Now, it's not going to be doing much to a Mega Venusaur because he resists it, and Mega Venusaur is just fat. But, stab, so you're looking at base 120 plus another 50%. So I think it's like 160%. And then I'm going to predict him to actually go for a physical type move. So I'm going to go out into my Volcarona. Actually, I didn't predict that at all. I'm just saying. I went out into my Volcarona predicting the Giga Drain. That's why I went out into this thing. But he actually went for the knockoff, which is even better because I was able to burn it with it. Someone commented on my video. I can't remember who it was, but they said that they like my videos because I keep it real. I don't say that, oh, I predicted this, even though I didn't predict that. A lot of YouTubers. I'm not going to name any because I can't think of any off the top of my head. But a lot of YouTubers will, PokeTubers will say that they predicted something, so they did this, but when in reality they didn't predict that and they just got totally fucked and they want to try and make up for it so that they sound better than they are. If I don't predict something correctly, you won't hear me lie about it. I'm not like that. I don't need to hashtag struggle to my jokes. I bet I'm the only one that laughs at my jokes in my videos. I bet you guys don't laugh at any. I bet the people that actually watch my videos don't laugh at anything I say. They probably just think I'm stupid. But he's just gonna go out of the Archeops. I am very terrified of this thing. Very, very terrified. So I'm gonna go on my Polytoad, get the rain back up. Like I said, this team is so heavily dependent on rain that it's almost necessary that I get my rain up as soon as possible. The acrobatics did a lot more than I expected it to, but I don't know. It was not the best decision to get rid of my Polytoad very, very early, especially since I knew that I would have to go out in my Metacham after my Polytoad. But I didn't want to sack anything else off. Polytoad was the best thing to sack at that point. At least in my opinion, at that point in time in the battle, sacking off my Polytoad was the best option for me. I could have easily, sacked something else, but that was the best option there. He's gonna go out into Fancy. This thing is a threat. It's a problem. I don't want to be Thunderwaved. I have a feeling he's gonna go for Thunderwave, but I wasn't sure. I was never sure what he wanted to do, so I went out my Volcarona. This thing's almost dead anyway. So I thought I might as well go out into it, especially if he wants to go for the Thunder Wave. He actually went for the Reflect on that first turn and then goes for the Thunder Wave on the second turn here. Which is very unfortunate because although I do have Quiver Dance on this Volcarona, being paralyzed just makes you so slow. It literally... I thought at the beginning of this generation, I thought that it halved your speed, but it actually quarters your speed. It's very, very devastating to be paralyzed. You're moving 1/4 the normal speed that you would have been at if you weren't paralyzed. I worded that very strangely, but I guess it makes sense. There's nothing that my Volcarona can really do to this this thing, and I know that he's gonna Psyshock again. So I'm gonna go out my Swampert. That I might be able to use my Volcarona later on. If not, it'll still be good death fodder. The Swampert can eat up anything this Fancy wants to do. It can't Thunder Wave me because I am a ground type, and as you just saw, that critical hit, critical hit, only did about 25%. So I can sit here and eat up the Psyshocks all day long. I'm gonna go for the Roar here. I just want to try and disperse his team a little bit, try and get something to come in on these rocks and take a little bit of damage. That's my main game plan here. He actually gets roared out into this thing. And I'm scared of this thing. I don't want to be messing around with a Milotic. Swampert is very important on this team, especially with the Pokemon that he does have. So I'm going to try and keep this thing alive if I can. I made the very, very risky play of staying in, although I knew he was going to go over this Scald to get off another Roar. I really wanted this thing to come in. This Infernape really isn't too much of a threat to my team as a whole, but it's one thing on his team that does have a lot of power. It does have a lot of potential to be very devastating to my team if it's not dealt with. Thank God I have my Swampert, and thank God Swampert is fat, eating up that close combat, and then I'm going to retaliate with an Earthquake and easily going to be able to take out that Infernape, which is very great for me. Infernape is one of those Pokemon that if you're looking just at its stats, it doesn't seem like that big of a problem. But when you look at its stats, combined with its ability, combined with its speed, it can be very, very scary if you don't have anything to deal with it. That's why I'm really happy that I did have my Swampert here. I had a feeling that he was going to go for the Giga Drain here, just to try and get some health back. But even with that, I don't think it would have been enough to save him from the burn. I think it still would have just barely been enough to take him out, because I only had, what was it, like 12 or 6 HP, something like that on my Swampert. I don't know, no, I think I have 14. Can't remember exactly. Something like that. But I don't think it would have been enough to save the Venusaur. And even if it did, I have things with priority. I'm going to go into my Talonflame here. Zol made a very good play. And a lot of you are probably wondering, well, what the fuck did he just do? He sent in a Pokemon and it died. That's exactly what he did. We both had Pokemon that died on that same turn. And what Zol did is he sent out his Fancy, his Death Fodder, to see what I would go out into. and then he can make an appropriate play as what Pokemon to send in next. It's not a very hard play to make. It's actually a very easy play to make. You just have to know when to do it. If you have a Pokemon that both die on the same turn, send out your Death Fodder, so that way you can get you can kind of see what your opponent is going to do, and you can see what they want, how they want to play. Because usually, if both Pokemon die like that, either your opponent is going to try to outpredict you into what you're going out into, or they're going to go out into whatever they want to do, what their play style is like. If they are heavily offensive, they're going to go out into their fastest, strongest Pokemon and try and take you out from there. If they're more of a defense-oriented player, they're going to go in, try and maybe set up some defense boost, or Leech Seed, or get fat, or whatever they want to do. So you just need to be careful. Going into Death Fodder is always the safest play if both Pokemon on the field die at the same time, or in the same turn, I should say. Here I'm going to go out into my Goodra, eating up. That Scald literally did like 2 damage. It's doing nothing. It's great. Goodra is too fat. And by the way, thinking about it now, I think I normally run Hydration Goodra, because this is my Goofy Goober, and I think I only have one Goodra. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I only have one. So I think I normally run Hydration. So that's a thing. But going back to this battle right here, it's just kind of stall back and forth here. This Milotic can't really touch me. It can sit here and recover all day while I slowly whittle away with burn damage. But then again, I can't switch, because if I switch, I risk being burned on whatever I go out into, and it would be very, very bad. Considering I need my last Pokemon to be alive to win the game. But he's just going to sit here and recover stall, which is fine by me, because I do have Pokemon with some power potential sitting in the back. But I am going to die on this next turn here after the burn damage. He's just going to go ahead and go for another recover. I'm not really sure why. He didn't really need to. He's only, at 85% of his health. So there wasn't really a need for him to go for that. I'm going to go for the Sludge Bomb here just to try and maybe get some poison off before I die. But unfortunately, that is not the case for me. Although I really would have liked it to be that way. You know what I'm saying, man? I'm going to go to my Talonflame. This thing is a monster. I'm a monster. As Scylla would say. If any of you play Smite, you would have gotten that reference. If you don't, I'm sorry. Going to go for the Brave Bird. I get a critical hit. If I would have been Choice Banded, it would have been a fantastic time for me. He's going to go for the Scald. Definitely going to be taking out my Talonflame. That's fine. But I got the real monster chilling in the back here. That Nipple need, that Nipple need, that Mega Medicham, that Power, that Roundhouse Kick, that Thunder Punch. Bop. Dead. Death. Destruction. But that is a good game. Zol, like I said, check out his channel and his Twitch. You're going to definitely want to mainly check out his Twitch. He streams a lot more than he does upload to YouTube. So I'll post that link in the description for all of you. Definitely check this man out. He's doing this thing now where instead of like streaming and playing Wi-Fi, he does still stream and does still play Wi-Fi battles. But he's doing this new thing now where he will actually rate your battle. So you send him your Wi-Fi code. He views your battle. And he pretty much tells you what you can improve on. He looks at your team, see if there's any unbalanced parts of it, and try and help you balance that part out. He'll take a look at what moves your Pokemon use during the battle and see if he can give you any pointers there, and maybe try and give you some pointers on what to predict from your opponent, which is really, really cool. I haven't really seen any other YouTubers or Twitch streamers do that, and it's pretty one-of-the-kind thing, and I think it's really cool that he's doing that. So definitely check him out. It's going to be the new thing, I think, that's going to take over the Pokemon community, or the PokeTuber community, or at least the Wi-Fi battling part of it, because it's very, very helpful to have someone like that. A lot of people will watch, Wi-Fi battles like what I do right here, and they can learn from that. But in my opinion, the hardest part of competitive Pokemon battling is team building. Simple as that. Team building is the only skill that you need to have for Wi-Fi battling. The rest is just experience. The rest, just play more. Just learn to expect what certain Pokemon are going to do. If like, say that your opponent has a Talonflame. First time playing Pokemon, your opponent has a Talonflame. You have no idea what the fuck you're doing. You're going to be absolutely destroyed by that Talonflame. But as you learn, as you battle more and more, especially Pokemon as prevalent as Talonflame, Be like, okay, well, I just need a rock type or a heat train or something to deal with this Talonflame. You'll start learning, you'll start getting better. So some people can learn from Wi-Fi battles like that, but there, at least to my knowledge, there hasn't been a YouTuber that will actually sit down, watch your battle that you had, sit there and rate your team, rate your move sets, rate your EV spreads, rate all of that. That's something that's really, really cool, and it's, you know, props to Zol for thinking of doing something like that, because I would never have thought about doing anything like that. It's very, very neat. So definitely check that man out. I'm out of breath, man. I talk too much. But as far as rants, I don't really have anything to rant about, except I'm being lazy and I don't want to make my bed. Just like, I took all my stuff home. Like, I generally go home on the weekends just to go see my dog. Because my dog is my dog. And he's chill. And he's still kind of like a puppy to me. He's like a year old, but he's still a puppy in my eyes. And I want to go back and see him. But I took all my clothes home to go do laundry and things like that. And I just haven't made my bed. Took my sheets home and I haven't made my bed yet. But in terms of, as I stutter here, in terms of the roommate, the one thing that he has done that has absolutely amazed me, literally, like I'm not being sarcastic, the one thing that has absolutely amazed me, he has this fan on his desk, which, I mean, it's a fan. There's nothing special about a fan. But the thing that he's doing with his fan is he's putting a dryer sheet behind it and letting the air circulate through it so that the room smells like dryer sheets. That's for you, roommate. That's for you. It's actually that's the only smart thing that I've seen this kid do. And yeah. But I'm gonna go take my nap that I normally take on my Tuesdays. And you guys will see this on Wednesday. And then there may or may not be an upload on Thursday. I mean on Friday. Because Smash Brothers is coming out. And I'm going to be playing the shit out of that game. Hopefully no C-sticks will be broken. I'm going to be sad if I break my C-stick. Very, very sad. Alright, I'm out of here. Bye!